Welcome back to the Dino Den with Topsy and friends. I'm so glad you're here. Are you ready for today's adventure? Then let's stomp on in.
Crash! Splash! Whoa, did you hear that? Welcome back to the Dino Den with Topsy and friends. I'm Maggie, and I'm so glad you're here. Episode 42. Are you ready for a colorful adventure? Then let's stomp on in. The den smelled of warm soap and old crayons. Sunbeams made little dust dancers on the floor. But right in the middle of the table, there was a cardboard box on its side, and paints had poured out like tiny rivers. Red, blue, yellow, splashing together into muddy puddles. Yikes, Rexy said, and his voice wobbled a little. Rexy tiptoed in, claws soft on the floor. He tapped a puddle of blue with one careful claw. It rippled, and then looked more like a gray soup. "The rainbow's gone," he whispered, eyes big as moons. Topsy zoomed in, a streak of giggles and yellow paint on her nose. "Maybe it rolled under the cushion," she cheerfully announced, and then, oops, left a tiny yellow footprint on the rug. "Oops," she giggled, laughing at herself and the little sunshine mark. Tank came carefully with his wooden scoop, like someone carrying a fragile cookie. He scooped red paint so it wouldn't spread. "Slow and steady," he said, very calm. You could almost hear the paint thicken with each scoop, thick and heavy and a little shy. London found a spoon the size of a little lake and stirred a tiny dish. She hummed, and the blue turned into a kind of teal that smelled like pretend peaches. "One color at a time," she suggested, like a little clock ticking. Mama T-Rex arrived with a towel over her shoulder and the kind of smile that feels like a big hug. She wiped a dribble with careful, steady pats. "We can fix this together," she said softly, showing Rexy how to cup a color with both hands. Gentle, like holding a sleepy bird. They tried to lift a stripe from the biggest puddle, but it came up gloopy and gray. "Aw," whispered Rexy. For a beat, the den was quiet as a cloud. Then Tank nudged a small jar of green toward Rexy like a little present. "Here," Tank said. "I'll share." So they did what friends do. They shared. Topsy dabbed a dab of sunny yellow on the paper. London stirred out a brave blue. Tank scooped gentle green. Mama T-Rex steadied the brush, and Rexy painted the very first stripe. The brush tickled their palms, and every stripe felt like a small hello. Sometimes their lines were wobbly. Sometimes two toes got a little paint. "Whoa," someone said when a blob jumped off the brush and landed like a tiny island. It was messy and funny and everything in between. They painted stripe after stripe, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, each one a small promise of color. The paint made soft smells, strawberries, oranges, lemons, and the paper drank them up like a thirsty napkin. When they stepped back, there it was, a little rainbow. Not huge, not perfect, but bright and brave in the corner of the den. Rexy's face lit up like a sunrise. He touched the rainbow with a careful claw. "We did it," he said, voice full of surprise and pride. Mama T-Rex wrapped her arms around everyone. Small dinos, big love. And the den felt warm and safe again. Mama T-Rex leaned close, and in a small, secret voice, she said, "A long time ago, after a big storm, God put a rainbow in the sky as a promise, like a bright hug that says, 'I will take care of you.' It sounded like the paint itself was listening." Rexy didn't need a sky-wide rainbow to feel that promise. He felt it in the way his friends shared paint and towels, in the gentle "I've got you" hugs, and in that little painted arc that looked like hope right on their table. Now, quick question, little explorers. Have you ever had something messy that felt better when someone helped? Or did you ever share something small that made a big smile? Think about one of those times. Here's a little thing you can try. Pick one color or one small chore and share it with someone today. Maybe share a crayon, a cleanup job, or a kind word. One stripe at a time can make a whole picture. One tiny kindness can make a big hope grow.
Ready for a tiny adventure right now? Tell your grown-up one small thing you shared today. Ready? Go! You can whisper it, clap it, or draw it as a little rainbow on paper.
Thanks for joining us in the Dino Den with Topsy and Friends. If you like tonight's little rainbow, subscribe so you never miss a stomping good story. Keep wondering, keep growing, and remember, God loves you more than you can imagine. Until next time, God bless, little explorer. Thanks for listening.
Today's adventure may be over, but your next one is just beginning. Thanks for joining us in the Dino Den with Topsy and Friends. Keep wondering, keep growing, and remember, God loves you more than you can imagine. See you next time in the Dino Den.